Hello.
Hello.
I'm Ginger.
I'm Dee,
and this is Chattin with
CHAP.
Episode 13.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yes.
Tonight, our topic is Don't Be a Lone Ranger.
If you're old enough to remember the Lone Ranger,
I remember.
I watch reruns at least.
Yeah.
So the Lone Ranger was super cool, right? There was like trouble, and he would ride in on Silver, his gorgeous horse. I just love the westerns and stuff, right? And he would save the day.
He would, Ginger, but like that was a big job.
Yeah.
Did he really do that by himself?
Oh, well, I guess not, because he had Tonto.
He sure did. He had Tonto. Exactly the same way we're not supposed to do our homeschooling thing alone. You know, the Lone Ranger had Tonto. We're not supposed to do this homeschooling thing by ourselves either. We were designed for community. You know, Jesus modeled that for us. He had the 72 and he had the 12 and he had the 3 and he had the 1. He modeled relationship. He modeled close relationship. We were created for community. And do you know that this week on our Facebook page there was even an article
Liz,
that was...
She was like with us on that. She was reading our minds.
She knew what we'd be talking about. But there was an article about being a homeschool mom and being lonely. So, yeah.
Yeah, so exactly. So we're not meant to be alone. We're meant to be in community. We're meant to connect with each other. And lately we've been talking about all the legal aspects of getting started with school, all the paperwork and things like that. That's not really all that difficult, but there are some days when you're in the midst of everything, in the trenches, and it is just ugly. It's just, it sure is really
There's no other
difficult.
way to describe it.
There's really not. There's really not.
Yeah.
So what is it? What is it that you do? What do you do with these nitty-gritty days?
You know, yeah, we're talking about those days where you want to put your kid on the bus. I remember I have these big windows right here. You can't see them, but I would sit here every morning doing my quiet time. The kids would still be sleeping, and the bus would come by to pick up my neighbors. And I would look at that bus on the hard days. I would think, why don't I just go wake them up and put them on that bus?
And then we've all been there.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. You know, and God really spoke to me one day. I remember I was sitting here and he really spoke to me and said, you know what? Stop looking at the bus and look to me. I've called you to this. But he also called me to a place of being in community where I am around people that can support and encourage me. I'm not meant to be on an island. There's not a homeschool island. You know?
There's my homeschool island and your homeschool island and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we want to hear from you. What is it that you've done? How do you get through those difficult days?
Like
you guys tell us, because there's something that you're doing that is totally going to help someone who's watching or will watch. And there's some. I mean, Dee and I have done things, and we will share. But there's so many of you out there, and we want to hear what you have done to get through these really hard days. So obviously, I mean, the first place we go when it hits us in the face is Jesus. I mean, that you go there in prayer, you go to him through scripture, through just quiet time with him. Dee talked about that the day after Christmas, about being alone and rejuvenating through Jesus. And that is the very first place that you go. But sometimes Jesus looks like your BFF.
Sure
does.
Just
Just like your BFF. Or sometimes your mentor, or the ladies at co-op, or maybe even someone who's not a homeschooler, someone else. Jesus can take many forms and faces.
And you know what? In your hardest times, in your ugly moments, that's when it's the most necessary to connect with someone. Like the enemy will lie to you. He wants to isolate you, and he'll tell you lies, and he'll make you feel like you're the only one who's struggling, and so he'll want to keep you isolated. But it's in those ugly moments that you should be reaching out. You know, C.S. Lewis once said that friendship is formed at that moment when you look at someone and say, what? You too? I thought I was the only one. And so it's just really important as a homeschool mom that you find your Tonto. So that's what I'm going to challenge you to tonight. If you don't have a support group, a Tonto, a person, a friend that can help you through these hard times, get one. Get one.
Yes. Because the reality is we all need that. We all need that support.
That's right. And you know what? Our husbands are a great support, a phenomenal support. At least I pray that yours is. But there's just a time where I need to talk to a mom who's doing the exact same thing I am. My husband can encourage me and support me and love me, but I just want to talk to someone who's like really at the same place I am, or has been where I've been, who can say, look, I've been there and I survived.
Yeah, so important to be in community in that way. So don't try and be out there and be like, I'm going to do this thing and it's just going to be awesome. But because the reality is there's going to be some point in time when you're really going to need that support. There's so much to this topic, and we talked a little bit about, I mentioned support groups and co-ops there in my little list. Next week we're actually going to talk about those in more detail. What is the purpose of a support group? What's the purpose of a co-op? And we have a friend who's going to join us. We're going to be brave and try a technological marvel.
A guest speaker.
Split
on
screen
Chattin with
live video. And we're going to invite my friend Barb, who lives out in the Pittsburgh area, close to Cranberry Township. If she's not in it, I'm not exactly sure where. But she will share with us next week, and she'll tell us all about her perspective on support groups and things like that. Because believe it or not, out there, everyone, Pennsylvania, this big, wide, beautiful state of ours, is so different. So I had no idea. I have learned from Barb in knowing her these past few years that support group and connection out there in Pittsburgh is really different from right here in central Pennsylvania. We're just function differently. It's really, truly amazing. So we're going to delve into that a little bit more next week. It'll be cool.
You know what? We are so glad that you're here with us. Like we said, please comment. Let us know, how do you get through the hard days? We want to hear from you, and but we'll be back next week with a guest, and it'll be a lot of fun.
It will be a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us. It's good to see you again.
This has been Chattin' with CHAP.
Next week.